Please. Here.
Is absent. Mrs. Gasconi.
Here.
David Mansian.
Here.
Mr. Balin.
Here.
Ms. Mazie.
Here.
Ms. Lopez.
Here.
Mr. Weissman.
Here.
Mr. Lynch.
Here.
Here.
Mr. Henry.
Here. Notice of this meeting has been provided through resolution adopted by the mayor and council on December 15th, 2025. At its regular meeting of the mayor and town council at the Boonton Town Hall, 100 Washington Street, Boonton, New Jersey, and by electronic mailing to the citizen of Morris County and in their record newspapers, through posting on the town website and by filing a copy of the same with the town clerk. Members of the public were also permitted to submit written comments prior to the meeting via mail or email, which may be summarized or read in their entirety during the public comment period. All public comments, whether during the public portion of the meeting or submitted beforehand, shall be limited to no greater than 3 minutes in duration. We would like to have a presentation from our town planner.
Could you help him? Never mind, that's it. Thank you.
Our planner, Chris Colley of Topology, will do a presentation on perhaps joining the Highlands for the planning process.
Thanks for making me first. Appreciate that. Yeah, right. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Colley. I'm the planner for the town. I'm with Topology. I'm here this evening to talk about the Highlands Council. For folks who were on the council or present at a public meeting in December of 2024, we got some money. We got a grant from the Highlands Council at that time to do something called the Plan Conformance Petition. And I'm here tonight to sort of kind of tell you we're at the tail end of that process happily. So just context, and let's see, it's 7:08, I'll be no more than 5 minutes. Context, the Highlands Council is a regional planning agency. It covers a number of counties in North Jersey. You can read a lot about them. The general idea is that the Highlands Council was created a little over 20 years ago with the purpose of creating new regulations for protecting natural resources in this region where so much of the area's water comes from. It's really a water protection agency at its core. The Highlands has two types of areas under their jurisdiction. One type that they call the preservation area and one type they call the planning area. And you're in the planning area, and you know you're in the planning area because 18 months ago, we had never discussed the Highlands before. And if you were in the preservation area, you'd know about the Highlands all the time. So the planning area is an area where municipalities can opt in to adopting Highlands regulations. And Highlands regulations are changes to zoning, changes to land use that would like limit disruption of sensitive environmental areas. You have a steep slopes ordinance, but many towns don't. If you wanted to opt into Highlands, you would adopt a steep slopes ordinance, that sort of thing. So in order to incentivize municipalities that are in the planning area, like you, that can opt in to participate in that opt-in process, the Highlands makes money available for those municipalities to go through this plan conformance process. And that's what we're doing. So in order to go through the plan conformance process, the town, me and my colleagues, really have to work with the Highlands staff to prepare a document that they call the Petition for Plan Conformance. And that's a document that's been provided to the council. It's like, I don't know, 30 pages or so. And that document has really two parts. One is a look back at your existing policies and how they conform with what Highlands policies might be. And two is a look forward and sort of a statement of what the town would do if it were granted plan conformance. And this is the exciting part, because if you're granted plan conformance, you make yourself eligible for funding from Highlands to do some of those things. Okay. So I'm not going to go page by page to the document, but I will sort of direct your eyes, if you want, to certain sections. In terms of like the looking back part of it, page 23 is actually really useful. when we met with the Highlands staff, the argument I kept making with them was like, we're going through this plan conformance process, but for the most part, the town's land use regulations are in line with what the Highlands would like to see. We allow the most development around the train station and in our commercial corridors, and the sort of sensitive type areas down by the reservoir, sort of in the eastern parts of town, are already where zoning is most restrictive. So I think for the most part, like looking at our existing land use policies, they are sensitive to environmental areas. And we proceeded to compare maps on page 23 to the land use plan on page 24. And you want to look at the goals of the Highlands versus the goals of the town, that's on page 25. So looking back, so we make the case in this document that we're pretty well aligned. Looking forward, and this is the more exciting part, what I think is a really good opportunity for the town is to use this plan conformance process as a way to get funding for and jumpstart like a lot of the things that we've been talking about over several years. So the last section of the document has goals and objectives, and there's something called area specific goals, which is where we've written up like the town's been talking about that area down by the DPW forever, right? But there have been things that have been stopping assessment. We're concerned about the environmental. How are we going to evaluate that? We don't know about the flood restrictions. How are we going to evaluate that? We don't know where the DPW might go, right? And all of these things require money, and understandably, like people don't want to throw good money away. The Highlands is a good way for us to get money to sort of take the first bite out of some of those problems. And I've outlined, I think, 5 or 6 of them in here. The other cool thing you can use this money for is to take on some of the bigger picture, for lack of planning stuff. Like, for example, ever since I've been here, we've always been talking about parking and like, do we actually have a parking problem, and what's the parking utilization, and right, all of these conversations you've all had, I've had. This is a good way for us to like go to the Highlands and say, look, we're a center in the area. You know, economic development here is important to the whole region. Economic development here means less sprawl elsewhere. Help us, you know, fund some of these studies that we want to do. So getting to 6 minutes. If you go to the last page in this document, you'll see maybe the most important thing, which is this implementation plan. And that includes a column that says plan task, and it says proposed cost fiscal year 2026. And we worked this out with the Highland staff. Basically, if they grant us plan conformance, they will provide funding for those activities that are in that proposed cost fiscal year. And then provided we get through those, and there's a whole Highlands plan, then we can go to them on an annual basis with these sort of other priority projects, whatever it might be at that time, and make the case for them that they should fund that moving forward. So frankly, I was very skeptical of this when I got started, and I think it's actually a really great opportunity. So what I'm here for you to do tonight is just tell you all that. And should you want to move forward with the petition, which I hope you will, I'm going to ask that there's a resolution on for next meeting. And then we would submit this document to the Highlands staff. They've reviewed it numerous times, but they would formally review it. And then there's a public comment period, and ultimately they would grant you plan conformance, and then you could sort of start to tackle some of the things under the implementation schedule. So that's my 7 minutes. Sorry, Mayor. But I'm here for questions or comments.
This is entirely at our own discretion.
Mhm.
We're not obligated to do any particular projects.
Correct.
But it provides us access to fund for various planning.
Well said. Yes. Okay.
Next action is it the Highlands review of this conformance plan?
Yes.
And then after that, do we need to adopt a resolution?
Yeah. So I would yeah, well, I mean, I'd like a resolution from the council saying, you know, we, the town, like authorize submission of this petition. Then they will do their process. And then at the very end of their process, which includes a 6-day public comment period, I do think you pass another resolution saying, you know, we accept your endorsement.
Do we have the opportunity to like either the administration committee or looking through some of the goals and outlines, is this plan complete, or can the town still provide some input? This committee provide input on those goals that kind of prioritizing the goals.
They can provide input. I will say though, I probably use the word plan. The first thing that happens after a petition for plan conformance is you actually develop a Highland Center plan. And that's going to be much more of like a traditional planning process. They pay for that. Where, we're working with a committee, right? There's public engagement stuff. So that's kind of the first step. So certainly you can provide comments, but I don't want you to feel like we got this petition and like, that's our Highlands plan, right? So that's going to come after conformance.
Can I ask that question a different way?
Sure,
Make
yeah.
sure. Just because a goal is in this plan doesn't mean we're obligated to do it if we get accepted. And just because a goal is not in this plan doesn't mean we can't work with them for it.
That's right. But if you have some really good ideas that you think should absolutely be in this plan, we might as well put them in now before we submit
I
it.
just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
They've kind of helped you through this process and
Yeah, we've
Fair.
created this document back and forth. I don't know,
so
3 or 4
it'd be
times.
acceptable to them.
It should be acceptable to them. Yes.
I think it's terrific and I appreciate your work.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? Good.
Great opportunity for us to access grant money to accomplish some of those long-term goals that we've been kind of stuck with because of access to funding.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
So is somebody writing up that resolution for next meeting?
Clerk will.
Moving on to our administrator and committee and liaison reports, starting with our administrator, Neil Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. Highlights from the Administrator's Office for the time period of January 21st through today, February 2nd, which are not on your agenda this evening, are as follows. I received 5 proposals back for water engineering services. I and the water utility staff will evaluate them, make a recommendation to the Administration Committee for those forms worthy of additional consideration, at which point some additional interviews will take place. I did participate in a meeting with our water engineer and police lieutenant regarding traffic details for the upcoming wastewater reduction program. The following streets are to be affected by this project are Chestnut, Canals, and Green Street. A fair amount of time was spent fielding calls on our snow removal operation, which I'm sure Councilmember Mazie will expand on during her report. I did coordinate repair work at the Miller Kingsley House in the way of a new stove and a hot water heater. And we coordinated completion of the new generator to the 200 Road Pump Station. And then finally began working on memorializing an agreement to allow RVRSA to access the Boonton Avenue Firehouse to inspect the antenna they've got located there. And that completes my report this evening.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Administrator Henry?
A couple from me. First, Neil, the wastewater removal, did you say, what's the approximate date though the streets will be affected? Do we know?
I do not know yet. I can
Okay.
probably in the next 30 to 45 days.
Okay. And we'll do some alerts to people, I would assume, for that.
I'm sorry, Ben?
I said we'll do alerts yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'd mentioned this before, but there were some trees that were removed from the sort of on the reservoir side of the fence around on Reservoir Drive. I think that's probably Jersey City property, but if we could just look into that and confirm that, who took down those trees and if it was us that we conform with our tree ordinance.
And Ben, that's a 300 reservoir.
About around there, yep. Yep, that'd be great. And then just about the snow removal, first of all, I thought just a terrific job dealing with a really difficult snowstorm. But I got a bunch of questions and I was just hoping you could clarify sort of Main Street in particular. Who's responsible for that snow removal? What role, if any, did the county play in helping us out with that?
So typically the town is responsible for that snow removal. This was a storm that the county agreed to come in and assist with the removal of the snow. They sent 2 trucks and 2 men in to do that.
Great.
And just a kind of a follow-up, the county does take responsibility on Main Street for general maintenance, potholes and paving, but the town is responsible, or the property owners are responsible for the curbs and the sidewalks.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Question. I got a question, a comment
Yeah, use the
from a
mic.
business owner. Sorry,
Yeah.
I got a question comment from a business owner this week. Are business owners or tenants allowed to push snow onto the streets? Or no? Okay. Okay, thanks.
Which is why it was so important for the county to come in and assist our guys, because they moved all the snow away.
Yeah.
And just from my own personal observation, Main Street's very narrow. It never looked so wide as after they did that.
And just one other comment, Mr. Administrator, it was a certain amount of snow that has to fall, correct?
So
For the county to be able to come in.
Well, for our guys to go out and collect the overtime, okay, it's gonna be over 10 inches of snow. Anything under 10 inches, they typically do it during the regular work hours.
Okay, thank you for that.
This is the first time the county has ever assisted.
Yes.
And it was basically a follow-up with questions that we had related to our TAP grant. I expressed some concern about the road being narrow and what should happen in a snowstorm. And the county engineer referenced, well, we have a construction yard over in Montville and we can come over and help you. So when it snowed, we called in that chip.
That's great to hear.
Okay, moving on. Economic Development Special Projects, Councilmember Meehan.
On 23rd, we spoke about TAP grant, so we're going to moving there. It's going to start in October of 26. It's going to be a long process, probably over a year and a half after we started the everything completed, but the double crosswalks, the bump out, are all going to start coming probably spring right after. We did speak about the Highlands. Chris gave his presentation tonight, so thanks for that. Excuse me, we also spoke about our the neighbor grants that we're able to get. Working with Broadford Gallery, they're going to be getting some work there. We talked about the community garden, setting something up by Fireman's Home. Pickleball courts, the pre-construction meeting is going to take place in February, and then we should be getting that real soon once the weather breaks. And our next meeting is going to be on February 13th. And one of the things we'll be talking about at that meeting, possibly doing a time capsule for the 250th anniversary of our country. So number of things going with these grants. Unfortunately, things are very just slow moving, but that is the nature of the business that we're in. But we're getting them and we're moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Councilmember Meehan?
Yeah, the community garden, is that a grant project or is that a town project? And
It's a town project. The engineer just wrote up something and it's unrealistic at what he proposed. You know,
okay,
we need to move the decimal a couple blocks.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
something
think
it's something I've been interested in for almost as long as I've been living here. So
the Fireman's Home is receptive to allowing us to do that, but it's what infrastructure do we need to install? What the engineer thinks we need is, I think, far more than what I believe we need to get started. We can certainly, it's nice to have a long-term goal, but you know.
can always start small, one
Start
big
small and
move and grow it.
Thank you.
Thank
Next up, parking, Councilmember Lopez.
I currently don't have a report. Our first meeting is scheduled for this Friday, the 6th.
Okay, and one of the things we will be discussing there is we've put out RFPs for parking logistics, and we're all tasked with coming back with the scoring of that. But we were looking forward to that discussion on Friday. Next up, Public Works, Councilmember Maisy.
Yep, thank you, Mayor. So we had our meeting that was held on the 27th of January. And in that meeting, we discussed the boiler update. The town hall received a new boiler. As you can feel, we have heat, which feels nice. And one of the discussions was to be proactive with this boiler and have maintenance done either once or twice a year to make sure that that boiler maintains its life and its longevity. We also talked about the crosswalks that are needed at Green Street and Wooten. So those crosswalks, I believe, will be going in April. I think that was the date that we did discuss. So that crosswalk will happen. There was also a discussion with about town hall and roofing. Originally, we thought we had to put a new roof on. Getting a second look at this, it just seems to be flashing that needs to be replaced, and maybe some shingles that need to be replaced on the roof. So that's going to save us some costs and some money there with replacing that flashing to stop those leaks. Streets did a fantastic job of cleaning up after the storm. This was a precedented storm. They did a great job. And as you know, we got the county to help us with Main Street, which was really nice due to your relationship, I believe, with Chris Vitz at the county. So that was great. I'd like to see that more often when we get these really heavy snowfalls to help clear up Main Street a lot faster. Eric Gore was announced to be the new superintendent name for DPW. So I believe, I think in this meeting, we're going to recognize that and ratify him being named as supervisor. And we also have I guess it's the plan for transition through Chris Venturini, who will be assisting Eric Gore while he comes on board and bringing him up to speed. Another comment that we did discuss, or another thing that was on our agenda, was the reorganization of the DPW yard. So we're looking and doing something to rearrange that work yard down there on Plain Street to make it a little bit more usable. Also give a fresh coat of paint to the offices and kind of freshen up the building there for the folks at the DPW. And that is all that I have for right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Councilmember Maisy?
Sure. Yes.
Thank you. Do we know when the roof was installed? The current.
I don't
roof that
know.
we have?
I don't know. the
Mr.
answer
Henry,
to
could you answer that? Yeah.
We're well within the expected 20-year life, so.
That was my next question. Do we have something, do we have a plan then in place, if we know about how long this is, to then put that on the books for later, just so we don't end up with more unexpected leaks and damage to the building?
So there is a system that can be used that we would probably have to find out if the roofing is within that 20 to 30 years. There is a spray that you can put on that will prevent any other further leaking if there is a certain amount of deterioration of the shingle.
Okay.
That spray can hold. So that may be a proactive thing that we could do versus roof replacement if we need it in the near future.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Moving on, Board of Health, Councilmember Lopez.
Thank you. We had our first meeting of the year, 20th of January. A couple key points. First, I want to mention that effective January 19th, all electric bikes, classes 1, 2, and 3 will be treated as motorized vehicles, requiring registration and liability and insurance. I wish my son was here to hear this. Operators must be at least 17 with a driver's license or at least 15 and hold a motorized bicycle license.
When does this go into effect?
It went into effect January 19th, statewide.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's, I'm gonna just switch topics. Any questions on that? So I received a request from the Board of Health asking that the town council adopt 2 proposed ordinances. I have them printed out for council review, rather than the Board of Health adopting them themselves as per their usual process. So the first is the retail electronic smoking device and psychoactive substance establishment ordinance. And the second is the licensing and regulation of massage and bodywork and somatic therapy establishment ordinance. So for a little bit of background and content, the Pequannock Regional Health Department is proposing these ordinances to all of its 5 municipalities in its jurisdiction. And the drafts have been already reviewed by the Board of Health and the municipal attorneys. So while the Board of Health typically adopts their own ordinances, Pequannock Township Attorney recommended that the council adopt due to a recent New Jersey Superior Court decision that raised questions about the Board of Health authority to license certain businesses types not specifically listed in NJSA 26. And the decision did not question the Board of Health's authority to regulate public health risks, only the licensing authority was called into question. So because the council clearly has the authority to license and regulate, the health department recommends that the council adopt these ordinances as written and notes the splitting license and regulation between different bodies is what we're asking to enforce. So I did speak to Neil today actually, and he shared that he already discussed this with the finance and administration committees and plans to move it through the committees next Monday. And if everyone is in agreement, we would introduce this at the next February 17th council meeting and take final vote at the first meeting in March.
Great.
That completes my report. Any questions?
But as the chair, we'll make sure we discuss at our next meeting.
Great.
Thanks.
Any comments or questions for Councilmember? Okay. Moving on, Booton Main Street, Councilmember Meehan.
Thank you. The Main Street Economic Development Committee met on the 27th. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend. I had a conflict with another town event. But thank you to Lindsay Weissman, who actually sent out some minutes, so I do have some things to report. Our upcoming First Friday is going to be February 6th. Love Notes to Booton is the theme. And I think she also laid out the schedule for the whole year of all the First Friday events. So there's a lot of things going on there, which is really nice. Farmers market was discussed. 90% of the vendors are returning, which is just tremendous. There's also a wait list that's starting to be put together for vendors that want to come in. And there were a few times last year where we had over 1,000 visitors to our farmers market. So again, another avenue for bringing tourism and people into the town, not just for a farmers market, but then maybe come and walk around Main Street and make available of our shops and whatnot. Some other items coming up will be the Brew Fest going to bring back. There's going to be a gallery walk. There's some talk of doing 3 different murals in town. So again, the beautifying of the town's continuing to go on. The social media aspect of promoting the town is also growing very quickly. We have, I think, over 8,000 people that are visiting that site. So that's very good for us, as well as looking to continue communication with the businesses and getting feedback from the business on how we can help serve them. So a very good meeting. Wish I was there, but again, good notes from Lindsay. So thank you very much. And things are going strong.
Any comments or questions for Councilmember Meehan? In council members' absence, I attended the meeting, and there was a couple other things I'd like to mention. They're proposing an event, a taste of Main Street, that I believe they want to host at the old Maxfields in March, I think the first Friday in March. And they're also exploring options to explain the loss of funding this coming year from NPP, which typically brought in, I think it's $125,000 a year. It's a 5-year program. So they're looking at, perhaps revisiting the improvement district discussion that had previously brought up. So that's it on Main Street. Moving on, Green Team, Councilmember Cascone.
Our next meeting for the Green Team will be February 9th.
Any comments or questions? I did receive an email from Melissa, I believe is the chair, with a request that we approve some of their activities. I think they want to do 2 garage sales, 2 townwide garage sales, 2 townwide cleanups. I wasn't quite sure of the mechanism to approve that. I told her to proceed as if it will be approved, and once we figure out how to approve it, we'll go ahead. But it's, I think they're when we get people come out and clean the town and upcycle some of their home goods, it's a positive thing. And I will be attending the next meeting on the 9th. Next up, Historic Preservation Commission, Councilmember Balin.
Thank you, Mayor. The Historic Preservation Commission had their reorganization meeting last month. Congratulations to the new chair, Betty McGrath, and vice chair, Ian Brastow. One application was heard for 929 Main Street. It was conditionally approved.
Thank you.
It's like my report. I didn't ask me that. It's already a month ago. It's on Main Street.
Okay.
In the 900 block.
That's right.
Any comments or questions for Councilmember Balin? Moving on, Housing Authority, Councilmember DiVincenzo.
Okay, so give me a second. I'm kind of trying to do this from memory because I left my notes at home. Housing Authority met last Wednesday, the 28th. First order of business was to swear in the new member, Beatrice Galata, and then moved to re-elect Jim Plaisted as the chair of the Booton Housing Authority. There are RFPs out for the accountant, auditor, and attorneys. The sinkhole repairs at Plain Street were completed, but now the fencing is also complete. It looks as if they are waiting on Verizon to either move, remove, or replace a telephone pole. I do not remember which one of those 3 is Is there something going on with that phone pole that we need to communicate with Verizon on, or?
Verizon's aware of it and they're gonna come out and take care of it. That's
Do-
totally on them.
Okay, do we have a potential date for that, or?
I thought they would have ended it by now, but I guess with the storm, things got delayed.
Okay, okay. There was some discussion regarding affordable housing. And also, there was a grant submitted in December for something called FSS, which is Family Self-Sufficiency, which assists families that are that are availing of Section 8 towards becoming self-sufficient and self-reliant. It's a 5-year action plan funded by Housing and Urban Development that provides education, support, job training, employment, and career growth. And then finally, ultimately, with a goal of transitioning people off of subsidizing housing into home ownership. This is a program I have seen work with another organization that I'm involved with, and it is really remarkable, the progress that can be accomplished. And then also there is the drainage on Chestnut Street, which I guess there are still some issues that need to be resolved before it can, before the drainage can be repaired. And that concludes my reports.
Any comments or
I
questions?
just have one question, I don't know if for you or for Neil, but the wastewater work, the Chestnut Street closure, is that the upper part of Chestnut or is that down by the
The
house?
stormwater?
The stormwater, yeah. Is that at all relevant to this drainage thing or is that it's really a separate
I
issue?
think it's connected.
It's connected.
I believe our hope is that we can somehow play our relationship with the developer of Knoll Edge, who I think owns the medical building there. They can tie in there. It's gonna take some time.
As long as it's that
Yeah,
connected
yeah.
on the radar, I appreciate it.
I know that it's been a lot of back and forth on that particular issue, so.
And to echo what you said about the family self-sufficiency, I've attended a couple of their functions. The last one, I believe there were 7 graduates, and they earn financial rewards for doing this. And I think there were 7 people last time, and between the 7, it was close to $300,000 was distributed to them. And one of the recent graduates is a new business owner on Main Street, Melly's Sweet Shop, the ice cream shop. And she was in tears. It was a very moving ceremony.
It's a life-changing program. I've seen it. I've seen people go from literally homeless in a car with 3 young children to college graduates with professional degrees, and ultimately, in this particular individual's case, a board membership in the organization that facilitated her transformation. So, yep.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda, resolutions 26-66 through 26-75. Can I get a motion to open this up for council discussion?
So moved, Balin.
Second, Casconi.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody have any comments on items pertaining to the consent agenda? Seeing none, I would close the council discussion and call for a motion to move the consent agenda forward.
So moved, Casconi.
Second, Balin.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. DiBiasea?
Yes.
Ms. Lopez?
Yes.
Ms. Mazie?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weissman?
Yes.
Mayor Lynch?
Yes. Next up, we have a section of our agenda where council members, administrator, or attorney can make any comments they like. Floor is open. Any council member wishing to raise any topic they like, floor is yours.
Mayor, I just have 2 quick things. One that's not controversial, one that will be, in a fun way. So first, it's February. February is Marfan Syndrome Awareness Month. I think as some of you know, I have Marfan Syndrome. It's a connective tissue disorder along with about 30 or so related conditions. It affects approximately 1 in every 5,000 Americans, although it's probably even more prevalent than that. When I was born, the life expectancy of someone with Marfan syndrome was 6 years younger than I am today. I'm not going to tell you either of those numbers, though. Suffice to say, though, it's younger than me. Now, however, the life expectancy is normal if you're diagnosed and if you're treated. Too often, Marfan syndrome is diagnosed at autopsy. Part of what Marfan Awareness Month is all about is trying to get the word out to as many different, certainly first responders, as well as many anyone we can in the community, to as the tagline of the organization, the nonprofit, the Marfan Foundation know the signs and fight for victory. So this is just my annual sort of call to Google Marfan syndrome once this month, read about it, and if anyone in your community may have some of these signs, mention it to them because it really can save a life. So that's the non-controversial thing. The controversial thing is well, the first part's not. I hope everyone enjoys the Super Bowl this weekend. And the most controversial thing I'll ever say up here, let's go Patriots.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, Mr. Weissman, I thought we were supposed to be kind of a nonpartisan regarding sporting events, regarding sporting events. I just wanted, even though several people have already said it, to commend our DPW for the work they did over the weekend to plow the streets, to make them safe for people to navigate. But I would put in a personal plea that if you own a property that has a crosswalk, clear the crosswalk, but not just the sidewalk part, but please clear the street part of the crosswalk as well. Because there are those of us who have difficulty climbing over a snow pile, who don't want to walk on ice and probably shouldn't have to, and there are children using these crosswalks. And it's great to clear the crosswalk, but clear the street in front of the crosswalk too, please. So that's just my plea.
Thank you. Anyone else? No, okay. Would close the council members' comments and now open the meeting up to the public. Any member of the public wishing to come forward, please introduce yourself and the floor is yours for the next 3 minutes while you're at the mic. Anyone?
Bound to happen at some point, Brian.
Seeing no members of the public, I would ask our clerk, I believe there's an email comment.
It's from Maria Elisa and Eric Glatz. Dear members of the Boonton Town Council, I am writing as a resident of our town to ask for guidance and clarification regarding what actions community members may legally take should Immigration and Customs Enforcement conduct operations in or around our town. Many residents care deeply about the safety, dignity, and rights of everyone who lives here, regardless of immigration status. At the same time, we want to ensure that any actions we take are lawful, responsible, and consistent with local and state policies. There is considerable confusion and misinformation around this topic, and clear guidance from town leadership would be extremely helpful. Specifically, we would appreciate information on what rights do residents have when witnessing ICE activity in public spaces? What can residents do to help protect vulnerable people from being taken without signed judicial warrants? Does the town have any policies, protocols, or resources in place related to ICE presence? How can residents support due process, civil rights, and community safety lawfully? Are there any educational resources, trainings, or public forums the town may recommend or consider offering? Our goal is to be informed, prepared, and supportive of our community. We believe transparency and proactive communication from the town would help reduce fear, prevent misunderstandings, and promote public safety for everyone. Thank you for your time and for your service to our community. We appreciate any guidance you can provide. Sincerely, Maria Elisa and Eric Glatz.
Is that the only one?
That is.
Okay, I don't believe we will be in the role of providing legal advice on what can and can't be done, but a committee has been convened to explore this issue and what the town can do. Okay, I would call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Weissman.
Second, Megan.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.